Hey guys, people have been asking for more sharpening videos, so I figured I would oblige. I like doing them. I guess you guys like watching them, so I'll do it. This is technically a sharpening video. Technically, if I had to put it in a genre, this would be sharpening, but this is kind of anti-sharpening, if that makes sense. I'm going to show you how to keep a sharp edge sharp. I'm essentially showing you how to maximize your time between sharpening sessions. Using this technique or techniques similar to this, you could keep a knife sharp. If it's a high vanadium steel, you could keep a knife sharp almost indefinitely. Steels like AUS 8A and 8CR13 MOV, you can keep sharp for months upon months upon months without actually having to take the blade to a stone. This is the Native 5 that I have to send to Sal. I tested this. This is the Native 5 that failed my rope test. This is why I buy backups. I'm carrying a Native 5 today. This is one of the backups that I bought. This is why I buy backups. He is sending me a new one. Sal is, the owner of Spyderco, but I want to carry the Native 5. I like the knife, so I want a backup. So the new one he sends me is going to be put in the spot of this backup, and I'm just going to carry this one from here on out. But I tested this edge, and I was going to leave it as it was after the test, but Sal isn't going to really care about what the edge looks like from my test. He's going to Rockwell test it and then Catra test it and then look at his own edge. So this is dull. I want to show what the edge looks like. Degraded. It's flattened in many spots. As you can see, very flattened right here. And it's even flattened all the way. You can see all these shiny spots. Those are all flat spots, rolls, nicks, damage, deformation, irregularity, what have you. It's all stuff that keeps a knife from cutting. And essentially, again, this is Kylie's. Kylie came up with this. This is the apex of a clean edge, what the edge looked like before I rope tested it. After I rope tested it, the edge looks something similar to this on a microscopic level. This is dull. What I'm about to show you is bringing this edge back to a clean apex without actually having to sharpen it. And this is valuable because you can keep many knives, most modern steels, I don't care if it's 440C, most modern steels you can keep sharp for a very, very, very long time without ever having to sharpen it. As you can see, the steel, it does still. This is something else I want to point out. If you watch the retest of this knife, you'll see that the knife doesn't cut phone book paper. It doesn't cut phone book paper at all. I have to walk it through the paper. And I've told Gun Dude 73 about this, but I thought I was crazy, and now I know that I'm not crazy. This steel seems to heal itself. I don't know what it is, but when I was done with the test, the knife would not slice paper at all. It was impossible to get the knife to do that at the end of the test. Even though it's still pretty boogery, it's almost like this steel heals itself or something. I know that's crazy, and it sounds crazy to me, but the knife is sharper now than it was before I put it up. Anyway, you can see it's boogery, doesn't like to catch. The steel's self-healing. That has nothing to do with this. It's just a weird, quirky thing that I've noticed. This blade got sharper when it was sitting. I don't know what happened, but it's sharper. Anyway, this is how you keep a knife sharp. You see that it's dirty. The cutting edge is not clean. It hangs on paper. But we still have a nicely formed apex, generally speaking. Of course, the microscopic, very apex of the edge is dirty, nasty, deformed. We can clean that up right here. Most people can, anybody can do this, honestly. If you have a sharp maker, you have a ceramic, you have a coffee cup, the bottom unglazed portion of a coffee cup works well for this. we are going to hone the edge, and that's going to bring it back to sharpness pretty much in an instant. You don't have to know how to sharpen to do this. All you do is come out at maybe a 30-degree angle, 40-degree angle, 45. You're not going to do a downward leading stroke. You're just going to pull back on the ceramic. Moderate pressure or little pressure, if any. Don't do that. Switch to the other side. Do the same thing. Just pull back. You don't have to use a lot of pressure. The ceramic's going to do the work. Alright, once you've aligned your edge, it only takes 2 or 3 swipes on each side. Once you've aligned your edge, you can do some edge trailing strokes with extremely light pressure. Again, just raise the angle enough that you hit the apex of the edge. If you go over, it's okay as long as you aren't using a lot of pressure. If you're using a lot of pressure and you're over on the apex of the edge, you're going to round it off. That's why using minimal pressure is key, because you don't have to be really accurate to do this. You just have to use minimal pressure. If I went way over like this and I drug, it would still cause no damage because I'm not using pressure. You're just using the weight of the blade. And I'm drawing this out. I could have been done with this in less than 10 seconds. I'm just drawing it out for demonstration purposes. Extremely light pressure. Then get your strop. It can be a leather belt loaded with green compound from Lowe's. That's what I used for a year, and it works. But this is a Knives Plus strop block. You get your strop. Strop the edge. Again, you're just cleaning up the irregularities on the edge. And now we're ready to cut. See how clean that cuts now? It took seconds. If I wouldn't have drawn it out for demonstration purposes, that would have took mere seconds. I mean, there's no time involved at all. No time and no skill. If you already have a sharp knife and you used it and you've dulled it, as long as you don't have big chips taken out of the edge, which in modern steels is very, very rare, you can repair it using this method, and it's sharp. I mean, there's no getting around it. It's sharp. Will it shave hair? Yes. It'll shave hair. So we got back to shaving sharpness using 10 strokes on a rod and maybe 5 or 6 strokes on a strop. We're back to hair shaving sharp and clean slicing phone book paper. Now, you can't argue that we're back to sharpness, right? Where the limiting factors for honing an edge is in repeated honing. What's going to happen is every time you do this, you're causing some damage on a microscopic level that you're not cleaning up. Using this, you're cleaning up. Let's say your edge is at 100%. You dull it, and then you hone it back to 90%. Then you dull your edge again, you hone it, but you only get back up to 80%. Then you use your knife and you dull it again. Let's say you hone it and you only get back up to 70%. Each time you do it, you're going to lose a little bit of sharpness because the edge is just that much more degraded. And while honing will bring it back to sharpness, it's going to lose a little bit of that keenness every single time, in my experience. It will eventually get to a point where you do need to take it to the stones because the edge is just too far gone to be honed back to sharpness. But don't let me act like that happens within a month. If you use your knife moderately or even heavily, you can keep your knife sharp with these two implements for months. Months and months and months. You can keep it shaving sharp for a long, long, long time. And I wanted to make this video because a lot of people ask for sharpening videos, but what they really want, I think, is honing videos, because more people will hone their edge than they will go buy stones and sharpen their edge. Like I said, you can do this honing technique with a $10 strop and the bottom of a coffee mug, and I'll demonstrate that if you guys want to. But anyway, with these two implements, you can take a nice edge and keep it shaving sharp for a long time. And I think this will help a lot of people, because if you get frustrated at sharpening, keep practicing. But if you want results now, then get somebody to sharpen your edge for you and keep it sharp using this technique. And it's simple as anything else. If you can color in between the lines on a drawing like kindergartners do, you can hone your edge. There is no skill whatsoever involved. So anyway, I hope this helps you guys. I know it would have helped me a long time ago when I first got into this hobby. I sharpened away too much material with my Edge Pro when all I needed was a few swipes on a hone. So I would have liked this info 2 years ago. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.